Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Code, and I'm glad to be here with you again. And today in this channel, we're going to be talking about while loop. And as you've known that we talked about for loop earlier. Generally, in this loop series, you know what loop is. Loop is a programming construct that repeats a block of code until a condition is met. It's actually a common way to perform repetitive tasks, and I believe you know how it works. For example, you know how do you use it? First thing first, you're going to specify the initial value of a variable. Then after you specify the initial value, you specify the condition for ending the loop. Okay, now that means that let's say this particular thing is met, then this should terminate. Okay, so now you also specify how to increment or decrement the variable. It depends on whatever it is you're looking for, or whatever it is you want to use. And also we all know that the loop executes the block of code repeatedly until the condition is met. And then when do we use it? When do we use loop? We use loop when you know how many times you want to repeat the block of code, how to traverse data structures like arrays, linked lists, and all of those things. But today we are just going to be talking about that's all that about loop. And today we're going to be talking about while loop. The while loop also works the same way, but it's just that they are just a little bit different from each other. And between a while loop and a for loop, a for loop is used when you know the exact number of times you want to loop through a block of code, while a while loop is used when you need to repeat a block of code until a specific condition is met. Do you understand? For example, if you want to, let's say for loop now, we are going to say name equals posse code, right? Let's say I want to loop through this particular string now. All right, let's say the name is posse code. I can say I will create a particular variable. Let's say for n in name, okay, print n. Okay, what this is saying is that what I just said. Loop is when you know the exact number of times you want to loop through a block of code. Now for this particular block of code, what this is going to do is that it's going to loop through each of these string, and when there's no string to loop through again, the code is going to stop. All right, so now I can just click on play, and we're going to see, can you see we have posse code looped here. Do you understand? The same thing is also applicable to either you are using string, you are using integer, you are using whatever data types you want to use. Okay, so but in the case of while loop is not like that, and I'm going to be showing you that in this video. In the case of while loop, a while loop is used when you need to repeat a block of code until a specific condition becomes false. All right, for example, meaning the number of iteration might not be known beforehand. In the case of while loop now, the number of iteration might not be known beforehand, and then you might not essentially need to specify the number of iteration, but the only thing you just need to set there is a condition. So probably why condition is true or a condition is false. So the code will either execute or terminate depending on the kind of condition you made true or you made false. All right, essentially a for loop iterate over a known set of items, while a while loop continue as long as a condition is true. And I'm going to be showing you that in this video. I believe we already see this, so let us see what we're going to do. Now, let's say we want to ask an input from a user. Let's say name. So I'm going to say input. All right. What is your name? All right. So now, in this case, I'm having what is your name. All right. So this is a variable called name. And then this variable is asking or prompting a user to input that name. So how I'm going to use this while loop is that I'm saying while, okay, let me take this down a bit. While, in a case of for loop, you might create a dummy variable, or let me just say a temporary variable that is going to take any input that is being iterated or that is being outputted. All right. So but in this case, we are saying that while we want to make a particular condition true now. While name, okay, while name is empty. That means in a case whereby the name is empty, or probably the name is this, or whatever condition, this is the condition I'm setting for my own now. In a case whereby the name is empty, when I say the name is empty, I meant that in a case whereby the user did not input any name, definitely I will be asking this guy to do what? I will ask him to print, please tell us your name. Now we are going to see something now. If I click on run, you see that this is asking, right? I'm going to say, let's say I didn't click on anything, then I click on this. You see, it kept on running infinitely. That's what while loop does. The iteration was infinite. There was no means of escaping this particular loop until there's a particular condition we put there for this while loop to always execute anytime there's something like this. Okay, so because we've already told this particular block of code or this machine that why this name is true, in as much that this name is true, make sure that you always ask, please tell us your name from the user. That means that this code will not end, will continue to run infinitely until the user tell us his or her name. Alright, but we cannot leave this thing like this. We need to stop it. Alright, so I'm going to quickly put a stop to this, and when I put a stop to this, I'm going to say that, okay, in as much as I have why name is equal to this, I will prompt the user again to tell us his name. Alright, so why name is equal to this, please tell her your name and all of that. So we click on this. So you see that it was able to terminate. That is, what is your name? Please tell us your name. Alright, I click on it, I'm not telling you my name. It said no, you must tell us your name. We cannot leave this place until you tell us your name. Please 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 tell us your name. Alright, so now if I finally write, probably if I finally say Posse code is my name, if I finally say Posse code is my name, and can you see the code terminated? But there's something I must print out to let us know that the code has actually ended. So I can now just come out of the block. Don't forget that everything under this place will continue to be don't forget that this code will continue to run under this while loop in as much this condition is what is true. Okay, let me say that again. This code will continue to run in as much this while condition is true. That means while name is equal to empty. That means if the user did not input any name, continue to run this. Now, should in case the user not input any name, then we can just get out of the loop and be like print. We can just say print alright, sorry, that should be a string. You can just say you are welcome to wherever it is you want to say. Let's say you're welcome to what can we say now? You're welcome to Posse Code. You're welcome to Posse Code channel. Alright, you know what? I would like to use an F string here. Let me use an F string, then we'll be able to have something. Alright, this is what I just said. I said you're welcome to Posse Code channel name. Alright, so that is just the way it is. So if I run it now, I'm going to be having, let's say I decide not to input my name. Please tell me your name, tell us your name, tell us your name, tell us your name. So okay, I'm going to tell you my name. Let's say Posse. Let me say Posse. Let me just say Posse there. So you're going to say you're welcome to Posse Code channel Posse. Alright, so this is just the way it is. I believe you all understand. So that is the way while loop runs. The same thing is also applicable if we want to use this for an integer. Let's say in this case we are asking for name. We are not asking for name, we are asking for age. So in the case of age, I can say I can change this to age, then change the input here to integer. Okay, so change this to integer. So from here I can say name, right? I just say change this to age. Now in this case I can say since age. Now what condition can we give? What condition can we give in this case? All right, so let me say if y age is less than say 0. Okay, y age is less than 0. We can just tell this guy to be like, no, it's impossible. We can say come on. I will say come on, your age can't be negative. Negative. I can say your name can be negative. Come on, your name can be negative. Alright, so I can just tell this guy that no, it is impossible, your name can be negative. Alright, so I will ask the guy again to impute what? name, your age. Okay, input integer, say integer, what is your name? Okay, I'll change this to integer, I'll change this to integer, change this to integer. So the same thing is also going to be applicable if then I'm going to change this to what? To age also. So from there, you're welcome to PosiCode channel. You are, let me change this to you are age years old, or let me say probably, okay, let us just leave it like this. All right, so let's leave it like this. So let's see what we're going to get. Now, let's say tell us your name. Okay, let me change this to, we're still going to run that again. Let's say this, what is your age? Or let me just say how old are you? All right, so let's run that again and see what's going to happen. So what's your age? We have negative. We have negative 60. No, come on, your age can be negative. Negative 1000. Your age can be negative. It is impossible. Your age can be negative, man. Your age can be negative 400. Your age can be negative. All right. So let's say I decide to say, okay, my age is 21 or 22. Let's say you are welcome to PosiCode channel. You're 22 years old. That is it. All right. So the same thing is also applicable to integer if we decide to use integer. And then we can also decide to use a logical operator. Okay. We can decide to use a logical operator with our while loop. Now, what am I saying? Let's assume that we want some either quit or say end function. Okay. So we can just tell our user that probably want to ask them what is their favorite clothing. We can just say clothing. All right. Clothing equals inputs. All right. So inputs, what is your favorite clothing? What's your favorite clothing? All right. Okay. So I can just say okay, all right. Okay, let me put it here. Sorry. Let me put it here. Press. There's a press end to end. Yeah, let's leave it that way. So press end to end. I'm going to put double colon there. All right. So we can just tell it that, okay, what is your favorite clothing? Press end to end. And what are we going to have at the end of the day? Let's see what we're going to be having. So we can now write our while loop in this format and say that okay, let's use a particular condition formatting. I know I told you we are going to be using logic operators. Say why, all right, we're going to be saying why not clothing. Don't forget that Python is a case sensitive language, so you must be careful when you are putting your clothing. Why not clothing equals end. Why not clothing equals end? Then we're going to say so wow. So we're going to say print your choice. Okay, let me put that in the string. That will be your choice of your choice. You can just say your choice of. All right. No. So we can say print using f string. All right. Say your choice of clothing is beautiful. All right. So don't mind me. Let me see if I can have this corrected and be beautiful. Is that the spelling of beautiful? I don't know. I thought beautiful. Hey, I don't know the spelling of beautiful. Come on. Beautiful, right? So this is choice. I don't know. Is this correct? All right. I think it's this. All right. So now let's go over the code again. We have clothing equals input what is your favorite clothing, press end to end. All right. So why not clothing? Why not clothing equals to end? Then we are telling this particular guy to actually tell us that print your choice of clothing is beautiful. Okay, so maybe the guy, because in this case he might have more than one clothing. All right, so that is why we're going to be putting that. Why not clothing? Okay, now why when we put not, it means that we are negating not end. That means we are negating the fact that if the guy is not pressing end. All right, so I can simply say impute. I can take this all again, store it in a variable, and still ask it to continue telling me. Do you understand? To continue telling me what is the kind of clothes that the person likes. What other type of clothes do you like? What other things do you like? What other things do you like? Do you understand? So at every instance, the repetition will keep coming, we keep coming, we keep coming, we keep coming. Don't forget that whatever it is you put here can change depending on whatever it is the person is fetching. All right. So I can decide that. All right. Let's see what is going to happen and see. Let us play this and see what will happen. And then, okay, I said I like shirt. Wow, your choice of shirt is beautiful. I can also say I like trousers. I like chinos. I don't know if that's correct. Your choice of chinos is feasible. All right. So should in case I now press end that okay, I'm tired. I think that's all I just need to do. I can just do what? Come to this place and write print. Okay, it's nice having you here. Okay, so let's see what that is going to be. Let's write that again. I decided not to do your choice of clothes is beautiful. Okay, let's say Posse. Your choice of clothes is beautiful and all of those things. Do you understand? In as much as I did not end it, I'm still getting a lot of things. All right, so what I'm going to do is this. So if I decide to end, then I'm going to be having it's nice having you here. Thank you, meet you next time, and all of those things. So that is how while loop really works. So another thing we can use while loop for is when we want to do conditional formatting. And I said conditional formatting when we want to do logic in aspects of number. You know, we did logic the other time, and we're also going to use another form of logic now. And what is the logic we're going to be using? We're going to be using the form of what? Number, or in form of numbers now. Let's say we want Posse. We have a guy, Posse, and we want this Posse to choose between numbers. So I'm going to have an integer. Impute. So under this impute, I can say choose between 1 to, let's say 1 to 10. All right, let's choose between 1 to 10 and this. So now this is the code. So I can just impute my while loop and be like, okay, y, let's say y Posse. All right, y Posse is less than 1 because we want him to be restricted between these two constraints, between 1 and 10. So y Posse is less than 1 or Posse is greater than 10. Let's say print not eligible. So we're going to scream it, not eligible. All right. So we are going to ask him to choose again. All right. We are going to ask him to choose again. All right. Do you understand? So now let's see what we are saying. Or let us finish the code. So should in case Posse now finish the whole thing, should in case he was able to choose between 1 and 10, I can just say print. I say print. Congratulations. Okay, let's use f string and say congratulations. You can say congratulations. Posse, which is the code, which is the variable, it's a lucky number. You are eligible. All right. So let's shout it again. Right, okay, so now let's see what we're going to be having. Let's say I have 0, not eligible. I have 2. I have let's say 1 0 0 0, not eligible. Let's say I have 3, Congratulations, 3 is a lucky number. You are eligible. And that is just it. That's just that about loop. Okay, that's just that about loop. You have nothing to worry about. In as much you can actually use all of this thing I'm saying. How did I tell you, or what did I tell you about loop? Let us go over the definitions again. I told you the right time that loop is used when you know the exact number of times you want to, let's go over the definitions again. Okay, a loop is actually, I told you that a loop is actually a programming construct that repeats a block of code until a condition is met. Are you getting it now? So the same thing, the only thing different from for loop and while loop is that when, in the case of while loop has a number of time that which the block of code can iterate for. But in the case of while loop will continue to iterate until a condition is met. Either the condition is met from the aspect of true, or particular condition is meant from the aspect of what? False. So that is just that about that. All right. So in the case you have issues, or you want me to give you a better perspective to this, or you would want us to do a project whereby we will show this in real project. In fact, let's do it this way. In our next video, I'm going to do a project that will show you a real life project on how we can actively use loop, this while loop, in any day-to-day activities. All right, just watch out for it. In fact, let me tell you now, I'm thinking of creating a compound interest calculator using while loop. All right, we are going to be creating compound interest calculator using while loop. All right, so just watch out for that project. Turn on your notification button. See you in the next video. Thank you.